Hello and welcome back to Two Kims.
One pod.
You know who I am. I'm Peter Kim.
And you know, maybe less who I am. I'm Anju Kim.
And we are the hosts of your podcast. Welcome back to the podcast. If it's your first episode, thank you for joining us. Check out all the podcasts. And you could go to the Patreon and check out our first 100 as well. There's the archive. Anyway,
those
I'm
are so good.
to talk to you
Yeah.
today. It harkens back because it was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
In 2020. No. Is
20,
that right?
Yeah, in
2017, right when Trump got into office, we started our show, Ajma Show, which evolved to Two Kims One Pod. And here we are now in a completely different political landscape. I've been gone for 3 weeks. So much has happened in the United States of America. I heard news of Joe Biden dropping out whilst in Italy.
It's crazy. The news cycle,
Crazy.
you guys, I mean, we really do try to stay timely, and it's like the one time Peter decides to leave the country in 14
there is
years.
an assassination attempt. No, truly, I haven't left the country.
Yes.
You're right.
I mean, like,
you're right.
The only time that Peter's left the country in 14 years is when the news cycle decides to go bananas.
Bananas. Absolutely crazy. I said, I want to take a break, and then America said, okay, we're moving on then.
Thank God. Thank God he's finally gone. We can
we can finally start living. Since I was gone, there was an assassination attempt.
Right.
There was a Joe Biden dropout.
Yes.
And then there was a Kamala Harris endorsement.
Yes.
And then right when I came back, Tim Walz became the VP pick.
Yes.
All within 3.5 weeks.
Within 3.5 weeks, the wars have begun. Everything has gone really crazy. Also, a Chicago influencer and makeup artist has stormed the internet. Everything is now demure and mindful. It's like the latest trend on TikTok.
Oh,
and
yes. You see how I come to the podcast.
So
very demure.
Very mindful. And
I'm not out here doing the most.
No, I mean, I'm doing just a little bit. I'm doing, you see this? Yeah. A little bit of under boob. Very demure.
Very demure. I'm doing a crew neck. I'm not doing V. I'm not showing off the cleavage.
No, it's Sunday. I'm not showing the whole T.
Yes.
I'm only showing the under. Very demure.
Yes.
Very mindful.
So we're back to a demure. We went from Brat Summer to demure fall.
Yes.
And
everything changed
in one fell swoop.
Bitch, we're like a uterine lining. In 3 weeks we are different. We are different.
Honey, emptied. Okay.
We've been shed.
I gotta say, I gotta leave the country more often because the best news happened while I was out of the country.
Oh my God.
And okay, let me just begin by saying how I left the U.S. feeling completely downtrodden.
Oh, you were downtrodden.
Downtrodden.
You were downtrodden.
There was a sniffs of depression.
Oh.
Yeah, there was sparkles of despair and complete ennui.
Ennui.
And ennui, oui.
You know, that was my rap name.
Little wee wee.
Ennui. That was. I've lived many lives, okay? I've been on Wee Wee. I've been Iron E. I've been a drug man manager. I've lived many lives. So yes,
E-Kinetic as your yes.
The t-shirt company. Oh my God, I forgot.
But anyway, yeah,
you left.
I was just in a very, very bad place emotionally.
Doldrums, yeah.
Doldrums. Just even with Hollywood, like everything felt bad.
You were scraping, the last bit of jam in a jar.
Do I know it? I live there.
Yes. I mean, you were remnants. You were remnanting. Yeah. You were remnants.
I was the sound of a stainless steel butter knife clanging against the angled sides of a jam jar.
Of a bon madame. Of a bon maman. Of a bon maman jam jar.
That's right.
Because you started off with high aspirations. You're buying bon maman.
Of course.
It's $1 more. It's the $1 more, $1.25 more. Even in this economy.
Fruits Reserve. Yes.
Even in this economy, you were springing for it. And then at the end, click, clack, clink, clack.
Click, clack. Send your mother back.
Yeah.
So I So I was in a bad place, and I was ready to leave this country. And when I left everything behind, and at first I did not have any service, and I wanted it that way.
That's gorgeous.
I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want texts. I didn't want alerts. I didn't want news, New York Times, nothing.
Yes, no push.
And then I realized, no push. I ain't pulling.
Oh,
so yes, I wanted to stay still and off the radar.
Yes.
And then the second I gave in and got international data, ding, 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 ding.
How long did you last?
Like 4 days.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I got to say, pretty good. The first day, I was like pretty much falling asleep everywhere, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
The next 3 days, you know when your days are so packed with stuff that like you can't even check your phone?
Yes.
You're like, what do you mean? What time is it? Who cares? We're on this tour.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it didn't matter what time it was.
You were in vacation
for
mode.
A second. Oh, honey.
You were vacationing.
I was full vacation.
Oh, you were demure. You were mindful. Look at you.
Yes. I was demurtsy. So that's the new thing now. She's combining it. Anyway, so like I went and completely shut off. And then when I turned back on, it was ding, 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 Biden. Oh my God, Biden. Oh my God, Biden. Yes. And that was like the best way to turn back on. And then since then, I was on top of all the news. So like it was very exciting to be out of the country. I will say nobody asked us anything about our country. Nobody cared.
Wow. Everyone was in vacation mode.
Everyone was on a siesta. And let me tell you.
Love it.
It was motherfucking summer vacation. In that, it was hot.
Oh. Hot.
So there was a heat wave in Europe. There was a heat wave globally, but over Europe. And when we landed in Milan, when I tell you, I went from the airport to our hotel, and I had to go into an H&M and buy a new shirt. That's how hot it was. I sweated, and you know me, I'm a sweater.
And I know Europe, they don't like AC.
Bitch, do they not like AC? They say AC. Freon where?
They don't like AC. They don't like ice. They don't want you.
They don't like ice. They don't want us comfortable. Okay, they want you to knock out and go to sleep. Take a siesta, honey. So
it's really a different time. They're not working. That's why. That's why they chill.
Wow.
That's why they chill.
Yeah, and their chilling is the coolest part of the country.
Their attitude, their attitude towards work is the chilliest part of
I loved it, honestly.
It's great.
I missed that feeling of why are you doing so much? Like it just felt so yummy to be around people who are like, relax.
Live life. I mean, that's the thing. It's like sometimes when you go on vacation, there's like moments where you'll feel anxiety because you're like, I should be doing something, you know? And that is such an American thing.
Isn't it?
It really is. And so when you do fully like just doing nothing, like truly nothing in my mind.
Yeah. No, I was so embarrassed when we had a walking food tour in Bologna with Ricardo. Shout out Ricardo. He was the best.
Okay.
He was so funny. Like he would be a stand-up comedian if he was in LA. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like or in Chicago. Like he would be a comic.
If capitalism was working its wheels on him, if he felt compelled to be as opposed to happy.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. If he was pushed to want more forever.
Yeah.
And be in a constant spiral and like looking down a chasm of consumerism.
Right. So if he was like, if he was only filled with void, like the only thing that fills him is emptiness.
Yeah. Besides, and turns out he is filled with family, friends, self-worth, and just culture and food. So So when he gave us this tour, it was so wonderful. Like it was almost cringe eye roll because he was like hitting all the jokes.
Yeah.
But he was what's it called? You can tell like he's used to like a larger, it's up to 8 people.
Okay.
The tours, but in Bologna. Bologna is, I don't know if you guys know, but it's a like college town kind of. So like the oldest university in the world exists in Bologna. And there's 80,000 students that go in and out.
Cool.
So during the summer, it's 80,000 less. So it's like the slow season. And he was taking us around and telling us that like...
and you're saying that you could tell that he is accustomed to pausing for longer laughs?
You can tell like
the rhythm?
Yeah, he's like, rhythm is like, da-da-shh, and then he's waiting, And then so like,
I mean, we've all done shows in small rooms, okay? You have to adjust. Oh, that's so funny. Okay. Oh, Peter. Okay. Yeah. Okay, go on.
You're back. You're back. Yes, we have all done shows where we're like, this should be more, So like, you can, and it was his 33rd birthday the night before, so he was hungover. So he called us and asked us for like to meet 15 minutes later.
Oh, I love that, Ricardo.
Yes. So he came, and he knew it was just us two, so it was whatever. And he was going through the rigmarole of his whole spiel, and then at the end of the tour, he finally relaxes and asks us about, he's like, are you guys a couple or are you just friends?
Yeah.
And we're like, we're a couple.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, okay. Like, how are you liking Bologna? And we're like, we just bought some hash in the park from some kids. He was like, oh, you guys smoke? And he smoked us out.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, you bought hash from some kids on the beach?
From some Moroccan kids in the park.
Oh my God. That is really so... I mean, I've also bought hashish.
That's so European.
Yes. I've also bought hashish from Moroccan kids in the park.
Yes. It is. This is the way. And he... anyway, all that's to say, he sat down after the tour, and he was like just chit-chatting with us, rolling us a split.
Yeah.
Getting us an espresso with Sambuca.
Oh.
Very Italian, very demure.
Yes.
And we and I was so embarrassed because the thing that came out of my mouth was so American. I literally looked at him and I was like, oh, so Ricardo, what else do you do? And he was like, I sometimes play the guitar. And I'm like, oh no, I mean like for your job, like when you're not doing tours. Clearly saying you only have me and Eric, so clearly you're not doing well.
You only made $40 today. What are you doing, Ricardo? Is that guitar? Do you busk? Are you recording? Is there a SoundCloud that I should download now? I mean,
no, I felt so bad because like I immediately realized that I was conveying to him exactly what you said. Like, I know how much you're making today.
Mm-hmm. And surely it's not enough.
So surely you must be going to a second location.
Yeah. I mean,
because how do you live?
I mean, I understand that we're together. We're hanging out together and smoking a spleef.
But like, how do you live with yourself by not working that much?
I know we're smoking a spleef, but I'm on vacation.
He really looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
He was like, what do you mean? This is what I do.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, right. And I almost asked, like, are you planning on doing something else?
That day? Or with his life?
No, with your life. Because in my head, Eunji, I couldn't square that you were 33 years old and giving walking tours of your city.
Peter, what's crazy is I've had the same conversation with many stand-up comics.
And you didn't even pay them.
I didn't even pay them. Because I know how much you made. We just did the same
thing I made.
Yeah. We just made the same spot. But I've been doing other stuff. Surely.
Yeah. What are you doing?
You're gonna go do 45 in Dubuque? What? But then, I've had this.
It's so embarrassing.
It is. Like, I've literally had this exact same conversation. One person said that I'm like the meanest person they've ever met because I was literally like, but you are so old. Like you are, you're pushing 40 and you have not yet. You have not yet
figured it out?
You have not yet saved over $1,000.
You got that specific. You were like, I know how much you're holding, bitch.
This is how insulting it got. I didn't believe him that he owned a car.
Wow.
Because I was like, there's no way. But
there's no way you can.
The only way you can, like, make payments and stuff. So like, but I've had this exact same conversation, and it is like,
what the fuck is wrong with us?
Because
we're troubled.
We're truly, because even the space that when you're talking about like the vacation space and mind, that we were troubled by the rest and the not doing. Yeah.
That really got to me. And, you know, it was a privilege and a complete boon for us to be able to vacation like this for 17 days straight. That was
crazy.
A long time. I know.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, day 15, I was like, get me home.
I mean, after day 5, I was like, emails.
Oh, no, I was happy not to do work. You know, I got to a point, and this is, I think, the true privilege of vacationing is that I forgot what I do.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And this goes back to that Bologna thing, because when I asked him, like, what else do you do? I was, at that point, I was fully expecting you, the person I'm talking to, that's international, to also define yourself by jobs, gigs, how you bring in your income. And it was such a stupid thing for them to hear from my dumb, fat American mouth.
This man who sweats so much he had to go buy another shirt. He needs another job. He got his sweaty shirt budget alone.
No, truly.
He's got to go into H&M.
He's American excess in all the ways.
He got to go into H&M. He got to. There better be a Zara around.
Yeah, no, truly. Fast fashion.
A Uniqlo.
We were in Milan, thankfully, so there was a lot. But god damn, I felt stupid and so dumb. And it wasn't until like further into the vacation where I felt like, what do I do? Like, I forgot that I do comedy. I forgot that I write.
Yeah.
I forgot that I'm a creator and I pitch. I forgot that I do social media marketing. I forgot that I do a podcast. Like, all these things that I do on a regular basis, it was erased from my mind, and I woke up blank and be like, okay, I'm here to learn and eat and take in the beauty and talk to people. And like, it felt like I was starting over. You know how like that vacation mind of like, I can be anyone.
Yes.
It was that for like an elongated period of time. And I knew that as I was shedding this layer of this American like doism, I was also scared that like I was going back to it. Because the honeymoon was eventually going to be over.
Of course.
That feeling of like, I'm just going to wake up at 7 a.m. and start being active my day. You know what I mean? Like, it just being excited for what's to come, because anything can come that day. Whereas you and I know when we, look back into our lives here, we're not looking forward to anything. We're looking forward to the things that need to fucking get done.
I mean, re-entry post-vacation.
I
mean, because I got back on Saturday and I had a full 7. I would say 4 of them I was actually D, because I was like still doing work and everything. So, so like part of the day.
Where were you?
I was in the UP where my son is like feels like the most free. He's only place he feels happy. All this bullshit. Yeah. And it is true. And it is a part of that, because I was asking him about it, and there was this moment where we were driving and he was kind of feeling like, if you ever go up into the UP or like Upper Michigan, there is like a change in the air. It's slightly crisper. It's, even if it's really hot, it's like just clear. The trees look different. Like everything is, the sky is a little bit brighter. It's like if
there are less cell towers.
Yes. The 5G is not working on you in the same way. And he was just talking about how it's like you feel free from sort of like normal life, and even my son is saying this as a 8-year-old.
He's an inner city kid, babe.
This is what I mean.
That's how he grows up.
And
I mean, that's how we, that's how we traumatize kids understand.
It's like, all right, there's a camp, there's this, there's that. Like, what are we achieving? What goal are we getting to? And so I just checked my phone usage while I was up there. Literally, I picked it up on average 3 times a day.
Wow.
3 times a day, picked it up 3 times.
Incredible. Probably just to look at what time it was.
Yes.
Wow.
Or turn on music.
That's beauty.
I mean, truly. And like, it was crazy how disconnected I felt without feeling disconnected. Right? I was unplugged.
Right, without feeling the anxiety of like, I'm missing out. FOMO.
Yes.
What else is happening? I need to get back to someone.
Yeah.
Like, you felt completely disconnected.
And it was
such a gift.
And it did not feel like I was disconnected. Right? Because like that active sort of feeling of like missing out on something that was not there. My life was full.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Yes, my day was full.
Me too.
Yeah.
My day was so full that I was like getting sleepy at 8:30 p.m.
Dude. Yes, and I didn't go to sleep last night until like 1.
1 a.m.?
Yeah, immediately.
Oh, because you're back.
I was back.
Yeah, me too. Okay, and also vacation. Another thing was, listen, we're in Italy. There's no GMOs. Okay, there's no like garbage food in Italy. It's all like actually very protected. And let me tell you, I was eating pasta, cheese, dairy, milk, cream, gelato, like everything that fucks me up here. And I was like, boop, 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 like really great, like solid, nice stuff.
Wow.
The second I land in LAX, tell me why I have the fucking Amazon River coming out of my ass, like literally every day. Like there's something poisonous about LA and America writ large, I believe, because shit is not the same here.
No.
It's not. It's just, and it's so stark how much my stomach is like getting turned around and fucked up. Like I haven't felt comfortable since I got back. And
like gastrointestinally.
Yes. Like gut feeling. It's just so gross. And like I can tell what I'm putting in my mouth is fucking poison. And it's just like, I guess, you know? Yeah. And then like, I guess like in America, in California, if you pay, you can get clean food.
Who are you paying?
But Erewhon.
They actually,
you know what I mean?
They
clean their food.
They clean the food.
Yes, Malibu. You know, like in Italy, you throw a rock in it, everything's clean.
Yeah,
you know, like that's the mandate from the damn country, and you know, I'll go on forever about like factory farming and stuff like that, but. My point is, because it's such a small country and they like codify everything and make everything not about squeezing the fucking dollar and cents out of everything.
Yes.
Like, okay, I'll give you a quick example. Balsamic vinegar comes out of Modena, this place in Emilia-Romagna region, like northwest of Italy. We're in that region and they're telling us about how the way balsamic vinegar is made.
Okay.
The way, like, the real balsamic vinegar, not the stuff you see at Olive Garden or whatever, but, like, that thick shit that you put over, like, cream cheese or whatever. You know, like, it comes, like black gold.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. That's what I get the Modena. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the DOC.
Hello, DOP.
DOP?
Yeah.
Are you done with OP?
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah.
DOP, you got it right,
yeah.
is saying that every part of the process is done in Modena.
Mm-hmm.
So it is strictly watched over. It's the same with like Parma ham.
Yes.
Or like Parmigiano Reggiano. All this stuff that like is, you know, those wheels of Parmesan that you can like trade.
Yes.
You know, like,
yes.
and are worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars and they're like branded and tattooed.
Oof.
That's all strictly monitored by these regions so that you can't. For example, that black gold that I was telling you about, they're still using the ways from medieval times, from barrel to barrel to barrel, to age that shit.
Wow.
Right? And there is no way to skip it and make it more capitalistic.
Right.
There is, obviously, we've done it in America, and Kraft has done it, but they won't do it. They won't do it.
Yeah.
And their point is that there are only certain amount of families that know how to do this now. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like the families who are in Modena making this and like keeping the like system going, they don't have a choice. Like that's their like inheritance almost. So
this
like
knowledge.
That's yes, and it's your duty,
right,
as an Italian in that family to keep it going.
And a nation's salad dressing depends on it.
Hello, and their identity and their source of pride, and that's just a quick example of like, if we ever had something like that in America, we would ruin it immediately.
Oh, you mean like,
you know what I mean?
Where like the national identity is about doing something well versus doing something awesome?
Yeah, or like the cheapest way possible,
but like
so
the
you get
biggest,
the maximize profit.
Yeah, maximize. Yeah.
Like these Modena families who are doing this black gold shit, like they're not making that much money because only 25,000 bottles are made per year, and you can't make more. So like the family can't even opt to be like, I need to make a little more this year.
Yeah,
the government's basically saying like, you're making enough, and we won't export more.
So you can't go to cello camp.
No, you're skipping cello camp this year.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry, because
government says only 25,000 bottles.
That's it.
Yeah. Even though I guess maybe you could sell a couple on the sell a couple on the side on the black market.
On the side, maybe. Yeah, sure. You could. Some fell off the fucking wagon, but you know, and trust me, it's a wagon because that's part of the process. No, I'm kidding, but stuff like that really blew my mind because like these are like things that like the whole globe seeks.
Yes.
Like a round of Parmesan, Parmigiano Reggiano wheel.
Yeah.
That's something that is exported everywhere in the world. And if Italy wanted, they could pump this out. But they just don't. And it's fucking crazy. And especially Bologna, they were like Bologna is like 30 minutes away from Florence. And they're known to be like a very commie red state.
Bologna.
And Bologna it's very like, it's the biggest university. It's where all the people in the world came to study together. So it was always very like cosmopolitan, like free exchange of ideas, etc. And they were talking about how like places nearby like Florence or Rome started to become more capitalistic.
Yeah.
And the like lefty, like communistic states around them really started tamping down and like affecting them in that way. And it's like
they saw the spread of capitalism as like a virus that needed to be
contained and condemned. It's so, I mean, again, it could only happen in such a small country.
Yes.
Like in the US, there's logistically, it's not possible to contain this type of ethos. Like it's just not possible, I don't think.
I mean, Italy has always sort of been like
30 million people.
But it's also, Italy has always kind of been like this. Even before, like, it's like, this is enough, like, where the quality of life over X, like.
Dolce Vita.
Yeah. I mean, even in France, it's kind of like this. I mean, France with Paris is less like this because that is a true cosmopolitan. This is the thing. You forget that such a large part of America's identity is our ambition. Mm-hmm. Yes. And it is that the nakedness of it, and how not only encouraged, but it is celebrated. Extreme ambition is
rewarded,
deified. It is God. Because that sort of ambition and quest for, the thing is, it's not for things to be good. It is for you to maximize. Right? It's not that you ever create something that is good or pure. The idea is always that you create something that will make money for yourself.
How do I sell it?
Yes.
How do I turn it?
How do I turn it? How do I do this? And it is that type of very specific ambition. Because I don't know if America is geared or set up to, coddle.
Enjoy.
Yeah. And coddle someone who is ambitious with like maybe creating the most perfect wheel of Parmesan Reggiano.
Right.
Like
it's not an artisan vibe here.
Yeah, like it's not. I mean, because even with that, like Etsy turned that into a commodity. Etsy turned it into a way of, you know, because there were pockets and there are people and communities in America where creating something good is valued.
Yeah,
but it's not a part of the culture.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. Like we went to 5 different regions, like very specific regions.
Yeah.
And each region has its own culture, right? Kind of like our regions, like the West Coast versus East Coast,
Sure.
Midwest.
Yeah,
very distinct, you know, characteristics. And the food, obviously, very distinct in each region. And each region had what they are known for.
Yes.
And they don't fuck around with what they're not known for. Meaning, Cinque Terre, known for their focaccia.
Okay.
The best focaccia we had, probably hands down ever. It was truly, as we were eating it, we were like, A, moaning and groaning as we do.
Yeah.
And B,
it's something you love to hear at a table when you're sitting next to them.
yes. Oh my god. Ooh, the texture. Ooh, the pull and the chew at the same time.
Focaccia is so
the
special. Yeah.
complexity.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It was so delicious. And let me tell you, every single other region we went to, the focaccia was disgusting.
Right, because they're not even trying.
They're not even trying. They're not even trying. Like, and certain regions are known for, let's say, like Liguria was known for like their basil. So the pesto was like prominent here. And other places, they're just not putting that on the menu. They're like, honey, we don't do that.
Okay, this is
it's such a local way to live.
I mean, this is going back to demure fall, mindful fall.
Hello.
Sometimes this is where you forget that sometimes bitches just stay in their lane.
Come on. Let's be a little more demure.
Let's
a little more cutesy.
Let's pay attention to the rules of the road. You must stay in your lane. If you're going to be going into a different lane, turn on your signal. Indicate to others. Indicate to others that you're going into a different lane so they can move out of your way or help you.
Wait till we give you that room.
That room.
Okay?
Yes.
If there's no room to merge, honey, stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Yes. That's the motherfucking thing. Here, we try to do everything and we're good at everything.
We've got a GMC Tucson that's actually going into other lanes.
Hello.
We've got trucks that are big enough to actually take up 2 lanes of traffic. Like
we got a Tesla Cybertruck, all right? I'm trying, like, each region was like, we grow this here, so this is what we do. As opposed to, like, we do everything.
Right.
For the visitor, you know?
Yeah.
And that, I know that's such a, like, dumb, not dumb, but, like, duh. That's what you should do. You shouldn't like genetically have to produce corn to feed people corn in this region where corn doesn't fucking grow, or like freeze it or preserve it with all these chemicals just so that you could have fucking corn here. But that's what we do here. It's like we have a hubris of like, oh hell no, we're not waiting for in season.
Right.
Like we're not waiting for tomato season.
I'm going to give you a tomato that looks and feels like a tomato, but it does not taste like a tomato.
That ain't no tomato. Honey.
That's not a tomato, but it is a corn syrup glucose ball, but it does look and feel like, I mean, it's almost like you know how there's like it's like a Potemkin village of food. Mm-hmm. Like, look, we all have we're so bountiful. Look at all this food that looks like food. Yes. Surely this is food. I'm saying the word food.
Food, yeah. And I can't say food if it's not food.
It's not food, but it is food. Yeah. Is it a tomato? No, it is food.
Yeah. Have you seen those TikToks of like the people on like cutting up the watermelon that won't melt or whatever? Like those like there's like this TikTok trend of like people buying groceries and like they're not melt but like decompose. So they'll like buy fruit from the grocery store and they're like, this doesn't look like a watermelon, and then they'll like leave it outside in the dirt and it won't turn into mulch, like it'll just stay, and they're like, something's wrong here. Like what the fuck? That's like all over my TikTok right now because
Because they know you're susceptible. Your mind is fertile for this right now.
I've been open. Yeah.
Your third
I was
eye.
opened by Italy.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I putting into my body? And
well, I mean, to me, when watermelon seeds disappeared, you can't even get a watermelon with seeds in it anymore.
I know, and that's not juicy.
It's not
a seedless watermelon.
It is a part of I right now, like especially with the Olympics, there I am sort of and I know you hate this, but I swell with a certain level of like nationalistic.
Oh no, I don't hate it. I feel very patriotic.
Yeah,
with the Olympics.
I love the Olympics, and I do feel very sort of like a sense of nationalistic pride, and it is a part of it is that like, yeah, we make everything shittier, but there is so much of it. Like, have you ever?
I know.
Have you ever?
We have a lot.
Have you ever worried about food? Not us. Like, it's.
We won't die hungry, but the food will kill us.
Yes, like it is. There's a part of it. I'm like, okay, fucking go off, America. Like, yeah.
No, yeah.
Who needs to die? Not this watermelon.
A point of view that's like very strong and toxic.
But it is absolutely like the food stuff. Very specifically, I would say it really has gotten intense and much worse in the last 10 years. Because I remember when we were young, there was food, like actual food. Like I remember when corn tasted like corn.
Yeah, shit is not food anymore.
But you have
to go to like Erewhon to get food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what sucks is that like the mindful, demure farming is being done like small farms, local CFOs or whatever. And if you have the money, then you could get the clean food.
Sure.
If not, then you're getting whatever this fucking seedless watermelon is. That's at Ralph's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's available to us to consume because FDA says it's technically food. That's where we are.
I mean, I do wonder.
It's fucked.
Do you think that climate change and food will ever become a priority inside of the political landscape? Because right now, honestly, I mean, for people who are listening or watching, like this feels very rich people sort of things where like people who are educated and doing this and can afford this idea see this as an alternative. Because even at this point, a lot of the farmers are the children of artists who were the children of billionaires. And so like, there's like this like weird virtuous cycle now of like where I feel like a lot of like farmers and like artists, like it's like this idea where they're starting to go back to the earth. It's very trad mom, like that Mormon lady that was in the Times recently, who also is like the scion, and her husband is also like very, very affluent Mormons and stuff, where I do not think that vistas, nature, and good food should be the bastion of the wealthy. If anything,
that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. They've stolen the good stuff.
But do you think that it can ever, inside of our political, like inside of the political landscape, ever be restructured as a class issue? Like, because to me, that is ultimately about healthcare. That's ultimately about this. Like,
exactly.
It's because climate is getting there. Because there are going to be climate refugees.
But here's what: climate and food and healthcare are stuff that the rich don't experience as like a problem.
So you don't think
even in LA, I think it's hard because essentially there's a race problem in the country, but at the end of the day, it's a class issue.
Yes.
And when it comes down to it, the haves are living pretty ideal lives and are not really touched by the stuff that the rest of us are touched by, like this food issue. And I'll say this: the other day I was at a show, and multiple comics were unironically talking about their favorite shakes at Erewhon. And
it's a $20 shake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Kendall Jenner like smoothie or whatever. I couldn't even, and this is right after I got back from Italy, so I was just like in shock of like, you're a comedian. what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you normalizing a $20 shake at Erewhon? And at first I was like, are you joking? Are you like doing satire? Like, what are you talking about? But it's even LA comedians have gotten so used to this being the benchmark of like what is acceptable that they're willing to pay $20 for a fucking smoothie and say like, oh, I only buy my groceries from Erewhon because it's like the cleanest or like it's whatever, and they're spending like $350 or whatever the fuck
for a single person like, to get groceries there. All of their groceries there.
All your groceries. I mean, I'm assuming if you're getting a smoothie there, you know, like just nonchalantly, and then like one of the other comics were like, oh no, I go to Bristol Farms. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah,
where's the working class? Like you and me are supposed to be the working class, but you're eating at Erewhon, and you should be because that's the cleanest food.
Sure.
You know, the most organic, least like modified or whatever the fuck. And I'm here struggling at H Mart. You know what I mean? So like
H Mart's getting expensive.
Very expensive.
H Mart, you got to do something. We've reached out to you many times.
I'm predicting this. There's going to be a Korean Erewhon soon, like a specialty market that's like K. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
okay. Asian. It's going to be like H Mart.
Yeah.
It's going to be H Mart with an H with the E at the end.
H Marte. Yeah, it's going to be I predict it. It's coming. It's coming.
Fascinating. I mean,
I know, so out of touch, man. Like it was kind of it felt gross to come back. I was like, ugh. This sucks.
What do you think? Okay, so one, give me a rose and thorn of the situation, and also how did it go in the gold market?
Oh, wait, rose and thorn of what situation?
Of the entire trip.
Oh, wow. Rose obviously was food. Incredible. Just everything we ate. That's not true. We had some bad food.
What?
And that really felt invigorating to have bad food. Because, you know, like you dream of Italy and you're like, everything I touch is going to be
I mean, I love
bursting,
it too. It's like when a hot girl farts. It's like, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody. It happens to everybody. Yeah.
It happens to everybody. You're there. If you're there for a while, you will fall into some traps.
Yeah.
So that was the food was excellent. The people were incredible.
I know you were worried about it a little bit.
The vistas were. I was left speechless. There is one place that we happened upon. Mm-hmm. There's multiple places we happened upon, but one specific place that I think you and your family would absolutely love. It's called Lake Malveno.
Okay.
And it's in the Italian Alps, the Dolomites, Dolomitri. And it is a lake that is only bordered, or like, what is it called? Like town. There's only one town on it, on the entire lake. And it's a huge lake. And it's protected. So there's no other towns that can, or businesses or industry that can be built.
Wow. Okay.
And it is the most pristine. It looks like, you know, when you hear like Edelweiss.
Yeah.
It looks like out of a storybook.
Yeah.
And there's beachfront everywhere, and kids everywhere, families everywhere. There's an entire other section for like kids to play around. There's no one's watching anyone.
Sure.
Like everything, because it's just like this lake. So like, there you can't really like steal like your whatever, you know. Everyone's just like leaving their stuff out. It was so like utopia.
Yeah.
Obviously you don't have to pay to get to this place, but you have to pay to stay at one of the places. Sure. You know, like the town.
It's a self-selecting sort of,
yeah. So there you could only have so many amount of people there, you know. And it just felt like if I had a family, like this would be the place I would stay all week.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Just like go out and play.
Yeah.
Like kind of similar to what you're talking about.
I know.
DP,
that's what happens.
like,
Yeah.
Bye. You know?
I mean, I didn't see my son for
idyllic.
hours. Yeah.
Ugh, what a dream.
For him.
The Thorn, I will say, the Thorn, I did get 3 anti-Asian remarks.
Okay, this is what I was going to ask. Yeah, okay.
That did happen.
I mean, it's very Italy.
And when I say Asian, it's China, anti-Chinese.
Yeah, because there are Chinese people that are in Italy now.
Let me tell you, they're Chinese brethren and sisters. I just need to ask you something, and this goes for all Asians, not just Chinese. But there was a lot of Chinese people that did this. When you are in an ancient building, or a cathedral of some sort, or any type of museum where you see and you hear and you notice that every other human around you is speaking in hushed tones and not on their phones on the speaker, screaming in Mandarin, trying to figure out where your sister or cousin is going to meet you, just realize, just match the tone. That's all you need to do. You don't need to change. Go back to China and scream all you want in your buildings. Where everyone else is doing this, you're doing that.
It's so funny.
And I just need you to be a little self-aware when you're screaming into your fucking Samsung.
Well, it's so funny that we always I mean, so for me, I always recognize when Chinese people do it, and for Max, he always notices when Russian people do it, because Russian people do it all the time. Toxic.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like an immigrant thing that's like...
But the answering the phone on speaker it is very common practice.
I get it, but like...
It's crazy.
Just be aware of where you are. Take it outside. There's plenty of fucking alleyways to go into. Like, why are you in the Duomo where it's like the most echoey place in the goddamn city?
No, it's like
these walls that were built in 1555.
It's just everybody, like both Russians and Chinese, like they both come from places with just too many people, and it's like, who cares? It's like in New York where people just act crazy.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
it's like you're just acting nuts.
Because like in New York too, it's like too many people.
Who looks a little Chinese. Now I have to bear the brunt of your actions.
So wait, what were the comments?
One of them was this was the craziest. Me and Eric took so there's like scooters everywhere, like Lime scooters, Bird scooters.
Yeah.
So we downloaded the app and we were taking that everywhere. And one time we were going back to the hotel, and this father and little child were on the scooter together, and we were passing each other, and I'm just like smiling, like because the wind's blowing in my hair, and I'm like, yes, I'm in Florence. And all of a sudden I hear this guy and this kid like point at me, and the father scream at me as he zips by, ni hao, ni hao, screaming, and the kid just cackling and laughing. Another time I was walking by, and this father and son, like adult father and son, wouldn't get out of my way, and I had to go around them, and I was like, and then they're like pinche chino, like fucking Chinaman. Yeah. In Spanish, but they were visiting from Spain, it seemed like. And then another time it was someone screaming like not ching chong, but like ching chong chang chang chang, you know, like cling clong, something similar, like ding a dong. Like it was like in the rhyme scheme of ching chong.
But they couldn't get it together. They couldn't figure it out. They're like, there's something here, but
yeah, King Kong. Like they were like attempting it, but
didn't land.
I wasn't speaking Korean, by the way.
Of course.
Like I'm speaking English to Eric, and they are taking the time out to say that I sound Chinese. And
this was an Italian?
Italian people.
Yeah.
It was like Italian older men.
Yeah, this is the vibe.
That's the vibe. And I will say the vast majority of people we met were kind, sweet, super amenable, loved that we were dining or buying from their store or visiting. Like there was go home tourist graffiti everywhere.
Yes. This is what I've been hearing about Italy very specifically. Yeah.
everywhere. And there was a New York Times opinion piece that just came out saying, like, must we travel this way? And it's literally about Bologna. It came out 2 days ago. And it's about how this small little, like, liberal, like, nothing city has completely changed because people are... like students can't get housing anymore because Airbnb prices are too high.
Okay.
And tourists are coming in and taking away these apartments that have been long term but now has become short term.
Okay.
Whatever's because there's more money in it. And, you know, basically like the changing face of an entire city.
Sure.
And you know, whatever. And listen, I understand it. I get it because Venice is trying this new thing where they're taxing everyone that comes in. So there's like a fee, like a tourist fee.
Okay.
To be able to stay in Venice, like a daily fee.
Yeah.
Almost like a hotel tax or a city tax or something like that. But, you know, it's so much that like the offset that they're getting money-wise is not enough to combat the wear and tear of the city and like, you know, the cultural degradation of these cities and et cetera. And a lot of the tourism pre-pandemic and post-pandemic has been China because Chinese people are finally now within the last 10 years, 10, 20 years are realizing a middle class and they're able to...
A real middle class, yeah. A robust and real middle class.
Robust that they are now finally taking their show on the road. And they're like, let's go see places. Yeah. And they're like, you know, they have their little flags out and they're really doing the damage. So that was a little shitty to experience the anti-Asian sentiment. And as you know, you and I can't be out here going, but we're Korean. Yeah. You know, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because in their mind it's just because in their mind it is all.
It's an other that's making my life worse.
Yes.
So I had to square that a little bit while traveling. Like, again, learning to be demure.
Mindful.
To be mindful when you're traveling. Don't go into Bologna acting like you know everything. Okay? Look at me. I come ready to be learned and humble, demure, cutesy.
I mean, this is the part of it with like even with Hawaii and this last sort of the conversation around tourism and the damage and the wear and tear of, as you described, like of the culture as a result of the tourism. I mean, it's funny that to me that conversation needs to happen inside the house. It's like yelling at people that are walking on your yard when you have like a path that ways.
I completely agree.
That there's a path that goes onto your yard, and it's nice.
Completely.
You've made your yard really nice. So
y'all need to talk to your people and to create a way where you're not selling out your own people. Okay.
And then put up the gates where. What do I know?
It needs to be put up.
I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know. I'll follow your rules.
And there's a part of it where it's, you know, the onus of not only being a mindful consumer, which I don't mind being a mindful consumer. I don't mind being educated and taught in this way and being taught that my dollars are being spent in a specific way, then maybe I should use it in other ways for sure. But at the end of the day, the reason why things aren't changing more effectively is because the conversation is not happening internally. Because these people still do need to make money. They also want to send their children to cello camp. They also want to, you know, there's a limit within the country on X amount of things being produced, on X amount of tickets being sold. So then they're figuring out other ways in which to maximize their profit.
Exactly.
And that's fine. But the idea that somehow the Chinese middle class need to be held responsible for how they choose to consume their free time. You know what I mean? It's like how would they know?
They don't know. They don't know.
And it's not even a part of their culture yet.
I know. Exactly. So it's like it's a double-edged sword because there are certain towns that like wouldn't exist without tourism. in Italy. You know, like there's no population refilling it. There's no infrastructure. So it's like,
I mean, yeah,
your ruins are what make you money. But at the end of the day, like, I haven't been back to Italy in 18 years, and to go back and feel the anti-Asian sentiment was really like.
Did you not feel it before? I mean, you were there 2001.
No, I didn't. 6.
Okay, so I was there right post. We literally attacked Iraq while I was in Florence. So it's 2002.
People looked at you as an American?
This is what was interesting, is that when it was convenient, they saw me as an American and very much like attacked me in this way. Because I came out of the train station in Milan with huge Pace signs, waves, parades, demonstrations, a lot of anti-American sentiment. The Rome Center in the Loyola Rome Center was vandalized, had a lot of graffiti. There like a lot of the students were told to stay out of very heavily really Italian areas just because of the sentiment. But also, Peter, I got the chinas all over.
Yeah. I mean, definitely there was China of like in 2006 of like, oh my God, a Chinese person.
No, it was negative.
It was negative? Okay. In 2006, I got a lot of children like looking at me like, oh, what is this? You know, which is also ignorance, but not like driven by fear or hate or disgust. It's more like, what?
Yeah, it's you're like truly you are exotic because you're in a different country. Yeah. I mean, that is definitely one of the things that Americans.
It's like how like South Koreans look at anyone who has white skin. They're like, oh.
I mean, it's why if you're a white person, you go to China, people are going to want to take a picture with you. It's yes, and it
Black people too.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely, and it's not a thing.
So that I get. Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely felt pointed this time.
Because there is also a lot of like Chinese immigrants now in Italy as well. And then
a lot of Chinese immigrants.
And then post-pandemic.
I saw a lot.
Yes. And then post-pandemic, it's even more fraught because of COVID and what they perceive.
Of COVID. Yes. Yes, absolutely. And a lot of Italian towns, especially the ones we went to, like Florence and the Gold Bridge, Ponte Vecchio, was completely demolished by COVID. And
wow.
It was like a lot of people just kind of went away, as in like generations of family businesses completely gone.
Yeah.
So like I think there's still that kind of like anger and sentiment around it. I could feel it, but for the most part, I would say 96% of the time we were treated very well and like welcoming.
That's A+. That's not A+, but that's A. That's great. That's a good A.
That's an A. Yeah. That's a good A. You know, like I would love an A+ in a vacation that I spent a lot of money on, but you know what? It's okay. That's life. And here's what my white partner, it was because this is the first time we've been overseas together.
Yeah, I was going to say, how was the trip?
The trip was great. The hotel sex. I mean, when you don't have to clean up after yourself, you'll go absolutely bestial.
It's true.
And
it's true.
So that really revived our sex life.
Yeah.
Like it was really on point. And yeah, it was very sexy and very like like, you know, when you're in hotels, you're just a different person. When you're traveling, you're just like the best version of yourself.
I mean, also the Italian sun is really something.
It's sexy.
Yeah, the Italian sun is really something to behold, especially if it's cascading through a window with like a
cypress tree. Yeah, exactly. Come on, get out of here.
I mean, it does change you. It changes how you perceive. This is also a large part of it. Your attitude about your own sexuality and your partner changes.
That part. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And you're like, wow, I could just do this back at home, but it's so much harder.
Because there's more expectations. There's these things.
Yes,
there's these
baggage.
Yes. And there's
the,
life.
Psychological things.
Yes.
Exactly.
That are weighing down the relationship.
And the horniness, like the willingness to hop on the dick. Because you're just like,
we got other stuff.
Get this fucking studio together.
Yes.
The fuck do you think you're doing?
It's true.
It's too true. I will end it by saying that it was refreshing. I think that's the word, to see my white partner experience the racism. That was really nice.
It was really nice to see my partner suffer.
Yeah.
Before we fucked.
To feel hurt. Yeah.
And it made it yes, and it made him more attractive.
Oh yeah. Yes, exactly. I didn't need poppers after that.
Okay, we must. So that's just a clue to all of our future lovers. Suffer.
All right.
Experience
suffer,
pain,
and she will be gaped. Now, because it's not. We really don't experience it here on a day to day.
What was the sort of? Around. What was it that you thought he was? What kind of like the racism or like the anti-American sentiment or the tourism? Like, what do you think?
Like all the like pinche chino, like ni hao, ching chong, that kind of stuff. Like he was with me every single time.
Okay.
And every single time he would turn to me like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
You know, and he and the thing is, like, even 9 years with me.
Sure.
That's the first time he's experiencing outward racism. Oh. He's never seen it happen to me.
He's never seen it live in concert.
Live. I've told him stories.
Right. He's only heard the
tales.
He's only heard the recordings. Yeah.
Exactly.
He's never been to concert.
And now he's seeing it IRL, and he's going, "Oh
my God.
That's ugly."
Yeah.
I don't like that. You know, so
I don't like that.
And to have it happen so blatantly, not like passive aggressive like it is here.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was eye opening for him to be like, "Oh wait, I walk through life never experiencing stuff like this. Like I walk through life hunky dory."
Wait, you think he really like? Because I mean, Eric is pretty mindful.
He's pretty mindful. I would say partially demure, but he's not. Even if you are mindful, like you forget, like you just don't know, like it's like if I was with you and someone was being misogynistic to you.
Sure.
Like I just don't see that. No, I do see that more on a daily basis. But like if someone was like, I don't know, like, "Move out of the way, you fucking cunt," or whatever. Like,
okay. Are you my husband?
Hello, hot. Like, I would be like reminded, like, "Oh yeah, I never deal with that." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't deal with being treated differently because of my gender.
Sure.
I get the privilege of feeling safe and feeling like the norm or like the default, Absolutely. So like I might be mindful about that, but like I don't experience it on a day.
And you don't see it IRL. You don't. It's not like something you go to. Yeah. Why would you get a ticket to that concert anyway? Yeah, absolutely. It sucks.
Yeah. No. So so that was in a like weird way refreshing for him to like experiencing that and for us to like experience that together.
Right.
And for him to be like, "Oh yeah, that fucking sucks," Did
it create like these like moments of?
It's just bonding.
Yeah.
It's like a deeper understanding of each other that like wouldn't have come from us walking around Silver Lake.
Right.
For 9 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like Andersonville for 9 years. Like you're just will never be faced with that kind of aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And to experience it together, albeit sucky, it's way better than me experiencing it alone.
Oh, absolutely.
Because my partner's there and he gets to console me and he gets to understand a better version of my experience.
And also
my lived experience.
And also because you guys are both traveling, it's such like a liminal experience that you both are sharing that are so outside of the norm. Right. So it's not like it's like a travel story that you guys share.
Yes. And we have with multiple people so far. And people are like, people forget. Because like, I have a lot of white friends or white passing friends.
Sure.
So like they forget that that's a thing that could happen to me. because like in these cities and bubbles we live in, it just doesn't.
Sure.
So like, I don't know. In a sick way, it's a nice reminder of like, hey, we're all like struggling here.
We're all just barely keeping afloat. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So the Ponte Vecchio, just to wrap it up, did not get our wedding rings there. We did figure, because a couple of reasons. We figured out what kinds we want.
Okay.
But there's this thing called a satin silk finish.
Yes.
That I really want on my gold.
Okay.
On my 18K.
I can see that.
And yeah, right? Yeah. And they couldn't do it in time before we left.
Okay.
So we now know what kinds of rings we want, and now we're going to get it done here.
Okay. So you're getting satin silky.
Yes, I'm getting gold band satin silky finish.
It's the only kind of silky that you can ever put on your finger.
Yeah, exactly. Highly allergic.
Highly allergic to silk, Peter.
Yeah.
The only person I know with this allergy.
Eric is getting a thinner version because he plays guitar.
Right.
But like the same kind of finish.
Oh, I can see that for him too. Because it's almost like, it's like the satin silky. It's like it's not matte, but it's like it's
it's less shiny.
Yeah, it's almost like like Vaseline on the lens. Sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. A Gaussian.
Yes. Yeah. I'm so happy for you guys.
Thank you. It was incredible. It was everything. It was more and more and more. I couldn't, I could complain, and I do, but
I can't wait to hear about it. And you should. We are going to be. Check us out on our Patreon. We'll be going deep into it. What's crazy is Peter. Actually, we have the names and phone numbers of these people that called out Peter on the streets of.
We're gonna get them on the horn.
And we'll be calling them on the Patreon. So please. I'm so excited.
But please do check out the Patreon. We have a lot of fun stuff there. And we're going to be uploading some new stuff now that we're back in the saddle together. I'm excited to get back to work with you. So quickly before we wrap up, tell me about what's been going on with comedy / your life.
Oh.
What did I miss?
I did my show.
Which one?
The Steppenwolf one. It went good.
Wait, that was... Yeah, I left after that.
Really?
Yeah, I know. It's a little confusing.
Oh my God. Okay, so...
But you did your show. It was great.
It was good. It was fine. Yeah, and then...
You want to hone it for Edinburgh?
I think so. And then it's truly... Peter, I forgot. Do you know that it's like actually been the longest I've gone without doing comedy was while I was writing this show?
How long is that?
5 weeks.
Wow.
I didn't do shows.
5 weeks?
I didn't do shows.
You didn't do shows in 5 weeks?
Inadvertent. It was crazy. And then I said
inadvertent.
And
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And I didn't either.
Oh, I was going to ask. You didn't realize?
No, because I was just like, I have to write this thing.
Wow. Unji.
Peter.
What does that mean?
I got onto a show and I kind of was like, what the fuck am I? I got onto the show. Doing? Awful.
Wait, what was that like? Because this week, I was awful. I went back to a show this week.
Yeah, awful at comedy. I was horrible, and I freaked out.
Horrible.
I was horrible.
I was sweating.
I was horrible. I was like, I was saying jokes, but it was like, it felt like.
Did you feel like an avatar?
Yes.
I was my God, me too.
I literally was like, are these words coming out correctly?
Are these my
words? Like, they didn't even feel...
I say this?
Rhythmically, I could not find the walls in myself across, like, where these words are supposed to ricochet off of.
100%.
I didn't even know how to be funny, like, to the people.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you have another show that night?
I forced it.
Okay.
I got on another show.
This is what I was going to say, because you really need that second show.
Yes.
Because if you only had that first show, it's doom and gloom and you're like walking into the fucking lake.
Yes.
With cement shoes on.
Yes. Heels.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That first show. Heels. Yeah. Show was fucking rough.
It was more. And the thing is, like, people were like, oh, that was fine. I was like, no, you don't understand. Sure, it was fine because there was like the memory of where jokes were supposed to be.
Right.
But I myself was not being a comedian.
No.
I was an actor doing the role of
playing a comedian.
Playing a comedian.
Yeah.
This did not feel good. And it was fine because, and you know what? I will say parts of me were like, okay, so I know that these bits will always work. Fine.
Yeah, that's great.
Fine.
Yeah. But even the bits that you're like, oh, it worked, it doesn't hit.
It doesn't hit.
Because you're so detached from it. It's almost like the belly button isn't like attached to the umbilical cord. You know what I mean? Like,
there's nothing going there. There's no juice.
There's no nutrients.
Oh my God.
There's no motherfucking nutrients,
no
right?
juice?
Isn't that what it feels?
Yes.
I'm like,
Hollow.
I heard myself do the jokes and they're laughing, but I'm not connecting, honey.
No, I mean,
I'm not here.
I was literally describing it as like, because I did it. I did 2 nights for like 3 nights in a row because I was like going crazy.
Thank God. Okay.
And then I was like, and I finally got there the final night, and then before I left again, so now I have to do a bunch of stuff. I have like this show that I'm doing 20 in 3 days or whatever. But I was describing it as like, it's like climbing, but where you don't feel the grip. Like you are for some reason just ascending. Because you are saying,
but you don't know how you're doing it.
And I don't have any grip.
No.
I don't have the feel of it.
Yeah, that's it. It feels off.
It feels off. And
I know. Thank God I did that second show because I left that first show. And here's what comes with age and wisdom is that you kick yourself less after that because you're like, I get why I felt bad. I've been away for 5 weeks, 3.5 weeks, whatever. I should feel bad. This is the math of comedy. That if I didn't feel bad, it would feel weird.
Yes.
And then the second show happened, and I was like, okay, found it. I'm back in the rhythm. I'm waiting for it. You know, like you get reconnected to it. But there is that first step back that you're like, oh my God, this is foreign.
The re-entry of it felt insane to me.
Yeah.
Because it's the way
that just tells you how much of a drug it is. It really does.
So when I was in Michigan, one of the women that was up there, she literally, her husband had been shout out was formerly the GM at the Helium in Indianapolis, and she was talking about how just like in terms of being a comedy widow and like just wanting to pull away from that life. And I looked at her and I was like, honey, I understand. Every day I wake up.
Wow.
Every day I wake up and I hope that I don't have this mental illness anymore. And
One day, they will find the right drug for it.
And so if you contribute to the Patreon, maybe that'll be a part of it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you guys. I'm so happy to be back, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.